Many of the characters within the Traitor Legion warbands fall into certain archetypes. The Emperor's Children and its assorted warbands are no exception. Whether it is Lucius or Eidolon, the most famous Emperor's Children characters tend to be conniving, self-interested lunatics with no higher thought than the next pleasure or furthering their status and glory. The most recent Renegades book, Lord of Excess, does admittedly fall into that trap. And as a side note, the book is actually quite fun, go give it a read. But its main character, Xantine, in the context of this book, Xantine is simultaneously a very different Emperor's Children character, and still more of the same that we've already gotten. Xantine is the Lord of the Warband, the Adored, which has recently broken away from the Black Legion's Children of Torment, because Xantine decided to challenge their old commander, and said, "Hi, if I win, I get the entire warband and your ship." And he wins, and now he's just been running from the Black Legion for an extended amount of time. But some way, somehow, he becomes aware of a world named Serene, which is an agri-world that mostly produces this chemical elixir thing that is designed to make people younger. I believe it's called a rejuvenate treatment. And this planet society is very much so rules for thee, not for me. Most of the city is contained on platforms that are, like, built and go straight up into the sky, like the clouds and stuff, and most of the planet's population are, like, down below. And this planet is ripe for the picking because there is currently a gene stealer outbreak happening, and there's one guy named Piero. And long story short, Piero ends up becoming the governor under Xantine's rule, because he decides to call for help, and then the Adored end up responding, because Xantine sabotaged his own ship to drop out of warp space over the planet, because his long-term goal is to play the 40k equivalent of SimCity. Seriously, that is Xantine's plan. He just wants to be able to play Prince on a random agri-world and not be bothered by anybody. Which, I will admit, is a bit different to other Emperor's Children characters, because a lot of them don't tend to do that, and he is perfectly complacent because all of his major needs, I guess, are met by a demon named Sajanth, who has... the demon is living inside Xantine, and basically anything he could really want, emotionally, otherwise, is satisfied, I guess, by this demon. But the demon begins to become displeased with the fact that, you know, Xantine is just fine playing Prince on a planet somewhere, and so is a lot of his other warband members, because Xantine is a massive hypocrite. He is the rules for thee, not for me type that caused the planet of Serene to become a crap hole in the first place. And sure, he can say, "Oh, well, I'm listening to you guys, and I'm doing this and that or whatever, and blah, 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 and you guys should be content with what you have." Well, they're not, because they're the Emperor's Children. They want to go out and raid things. They're not just going to sit by and let Xantine do whatever because, oh, hey, his demon lady's making him feel good. Which, by the way, that demon lady is secretly conspiring with another member of the warband, Tarakan, who's this very tall, very perfect space marine that was created by Fabius Bile. He's also the spitting image of Fulgrim, and the amount of times that it says, "Oh, he's so much taller than the rest of the space marines," makes me think that Bile is messing around with the Primaris stuff that he got in the Gene Father book, which also, really good book. You should go read that. But overall, Xantine, after a certain amount of time, keeps getting attacked. First by Sarquil, a Terminator armored marine who comes across as more of a standard Chaos Space Marine than an Emperor's Children marine, and leads a rebellion because during a fight with Xantine, the demon took over Xantine's body and just kind of chucked him over the side, which gave Sarquil time to, you know, start a rebellion and a bunch of other stuff. And after that failed, because Sarquil's now dead because Xantine went and killed him and a bunch of other stuff, because instead of, you know, actually trying to have a demon planet or anything else, or just, you know, do what other Chaos Space Marines do when they have a planet, he's trying to get the population to, like, worship him and love him. I mean, for God's sakes, he's doing, like, the gladiatorial thing where basically he's like, "Oh yeah, these noble houses, they can like challenge each other for, like, positions in the government and stuff like that," and he's completely complacent. And the demon is just letting this happen, because the demon, like I said before, is conspiring against Xantine. And eventually, during a celebration parade, which was the 8th anniversary of the planet's capture, the crowd, who at this point was relying on rejuvenate treatments because Emperor's Children, and not having them for an extended period of time, a corn cult popped up, and a bloodthirster is just there and begins to fight Xantine. And at this point, it is where Tarakan makes his appearance and basically goes, "Lol, Lamau, I'm stealing your demon girlfriend. Also, we planned this. Also, get bent, lol. Good luck with the fucking bloodthirster. And they run away, and then Xantine gets sent back down to, like, the bottom of the city, just like Sarquill did, which is actually kind of funny. And instead of, say, I don't know, dying, he had a backup plan this entire time. Remember when I said there was a gene stealer infestation? Well, instead of really stopping that, Xantine decided to put the Patriarch and a bunch of other gene stealers into, like, tubes. And Piero, the governor guy I mentioned earlier, was following a plan that Xantine set up that basically said, hey, if I ever get deposed as ruler, go into the basement and unleash the gene stealers again, and let's see how they like it. And that's what happens. And a hive fleet gets called to the planet, so Xantine and whoever is actually still loyal to him basically just ends up stealing their main battleship that, keep in mind, he already sabotaged because he has a psyker lady who, I don't know, I do not remember her name off the top of my head, but basically she's the one who ends up becoming the main astropath for the ship, and they end up leaving the planet as Serene gets entirely devoured by Tyranids along with anyone else that didn't like him. So in essence, what we got in this book was whiny, piss baby, Emperor's Children man wants to play king, doesn't like the fact that he has to actually, be responsible as a leader. Like, even if you're going to be a totalitarian moron and decide to say, oh, well, I'm going to give people a bunch of, like, stimulants and crap so that way they won't, uprise against me. Well, that doesn't exactly work when you start to throttle the production of them, does it, bud? Because then corn cults pop up, I guess. The book kind of jumps all over the place, but in regards to Xantine's character, he's whiny. He's this hypocritical, just idiot. He doesn't pay attention to anything. He genuinely thought that by him doing this, that no one would rise up against him when, in his position of power, the only reason why he's there is because he stabbed someone in the back and was completely shocked when he got stabbed in the back, like, basically twice, and he basically had a temper tantrum about it. And he should have expected it, because this is what the Emperor's Children does. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. And it's all the more reason why, without steady leadership for the Legion to actually unite any of the warbands, the Emperor's Children are just going to keep eating each other. And all Xantine does is make it worse, because I really don't think that he has any higher thinking or awareness, and instead of, trying to put down the rebellion like a Null person was, he was just too concerned with, I can't do that. I want them to like me. I want to be worshipped. Because he has his demon girlfriend. He's just this whiny, petulant character. And I love him because he's totally incompetent and ridiculous. Keep in mind, is this character the most intriguing or best Emperor's Children character? No, my favorite Emperor's Children character is Lucius, and yes, I actually do like Lucius the Eternal. I'm aware that he's a massive dweeb, however, that's why I like him. I also like Xantine because he's a massive dweeb. He's just a massive dweeb that's kinda stupid. And in a lot of ways, this book does not show the glories of another Emperor's Children warband. It's not like Renegade's Harrow Master where it shows the Alpha Legion actually being able to do stuff. No, it shows how the Emperor's Children function. Mindlessly, without any sort of genuine plan, and just doing whatever because that's what they feel like. And I know that Xantine had a plan here, but let's be honest, he didn't consider the consequences of what was gonna happen at all, now did he? He's a lackey trying to be the big dog, when in reality he's nothing more than just a chihuahua. But overall, if this character sounds interesting to you, because while I did tend to spoil a lot of the plot of the book, still give it a read. It's a fun time, and as ridiculous as it is, it's a fun book. It's a nice, light read, and overall, I recommend it. Thank you all very much for watching. If you want to be able to support the channel, please consider becoming a member, and thank you very much to the channel members for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a great night.